Greetings, this is Vane and welcome back to Let's Play Planescape Torment. Okay, so where are we? So where are we? What have we done? We've covered all of this. We got Angar's house, the mausoleum, the mortuary entrance, gathering dust bar. Okay.
Done.
We'll do. We'll. Okay, yeah. Done everyone around there.
Done.
So now we're going to do the buildings in this core of the hive.
All right.
Okay, who's we got? We got Angar and wife of Angar. This man looks haunted. His eyes are half riddles if he has had trouble sleeping, and his hair is long and unkempt. His beard is flecked with bits of dead skin and old bits of food. He doesn't seem to notice you as you approach. Greetings! Man glances up at the sound of your voice and his slack expression vanishes. It looks like someone has lit two fires in his eyes. What be your business barging into my house? His eyes narrow and his teeth clench. Get, or I sent you back to whatever grave you crawled from. Calm yourself, I had some questions. The man's face turns blood red and he begins shouting, Are you daft? Where a snarly spits at your feet. You filthy scar-rigging dog. Off with ye, or even the powers won't be able to save your hide. Farewell then. The man throws a parting shot at your back. You'd best never cross me door again, you wretched stinking bastard. Leave without another word. This woman looks to be in her middle years. Her hair has streaks of grey running through it. Lines of worry crisscross her face. She sees you and seems torn between asking you to leave and calling for the man at the table. Greetings. You'd best leave before I call me husband. He won't take kindly if you have him barged your way into our home. Calm down, I just had some questions. She glances towards her husband, worry in her eyes. I have not time for the time, stranger. Don't not be troubling me with such things. Excuse me, are you all right? Me, she seems surprised. Oh, aye. She lowers her voice. You'd best leave. My husband has not been himself of late. You'd best not provoke him with your presence. I spoke with him. He seems troubled. What is wrong with him? He's been out of sorts of late. A touch of the cough, maybe. She gives an unconvincing half shrug. What's really wrong with him? I think he's done something he regrets. Her worried expression melts into despair. I think he signed one of the dead contracts. I cannot imagine what possessed him to do such a foolish thing. Dead contracts? The dead, the dustmen, have contracts that give them the right to someone's body after they die. What do the dustmen do with the body after death? Animate it with their black magics, turn it into one of the walking dead, make it work until... She looks at her husband helplessly, till it rots away. Why did your husband sign such a thing? He may have been goat eager to bring home some more drink than custom. He's prideful, but I think he's hurt himself more by doing so. Can his contract be undone? She looks at you surprised and then sighs. I have tried. I've spoken to the dustman that he did the signing with, but he's cold and chill, like all the dusties. He even lectured me on my husband, as if I had no right to try and help him. His lips were a tight, thin line, as if picturing the dustman's face. He was cold, cruel he was. Let me see what I can do. Who was this dustman your husband signed the contract with? The dusty calls himself Gravesend. I know not his first name. He has a table at the dustman bar at the Hive, gathering dust. I believe the place is named. You're most likely to find him there, trying to get more people to sign his contracts. I'll seek him out then. Where is this gathering dust bar?
Updated my journal.
Head out the street outside, go to the memorial stone and then head south and west from there. She taps her finger against the chin. You should run right into it. There's one of them, her face wrinkles in disgust, walking corpses out front. Farewell, I'll see what I can do. I won't turn away such a friendly gesture. She seems grateful and then my worried expression returns. But I must ask you not to let it on that I asked you to do such a thing. My husband has a terrible temper and if he were to find out... She shudders. Okay. Lie. I promise that your husband will not find out. Thank you, stranger. I appreciate your help. It's no trouble. I'll go about us undoing your husband's contract now. And now we got a journal entry of that. I encountered a woman in the Hive whose husband, Angyar, signed a dead contract with one of the dustmen in the governing dust bar. A man by the name of Morte Gravesend. She didn't know his first name, we just guessed it. I offered to go and see if I could settle the contract for her and give her and her husband some peace of mind. She told me the gathering dust bar was located in this block of hives south and west of the Dustman Memorial, and that there was a zombie standing out front. Okay. So yeah. Next up, let's go to the gathering dust bar.
Done.
So if we've got Dustman, Noach, Dustman, awaiting death, zombie worker, Seri the skeptic, zombie worker, Dustman, Morte Gravesend, Dustman, zombie worker. Okay, let's have a look. The female corpse is dressed in a heavy burlap shirt covered with food and oil stains. Her lips have been stitched closed and her arms and legs are wrapped in several layers of bandages. The bandages seem to have been soaked in preservatives to keep the corpse fresh. As a result, the corpse's rotting odour has been replaced with an equally repulsive vinegar smell. So, you doing anything later? The zombie continues to stare at you. Alright then. Great talking to you. Farewell. As you turn away, you notice Morte staring at you. What is it? Did you see the way that cadaverous beauty was staring at me? Morte's teeth chatter as if in anticipation. She was looking for some lucky to fall her coffin. Please don't start this again. Morte ignores you and becomes thoughtful. I don't really mind the attention, actually. It's just that I like to be seen as something more than just a skull, you know. I have feelings that go beyond my base animal instincts. I want courtship, not some fortnight fling around the mausoleum. Keep it up and I'm gonna fling you somewhere. Well, Chief. Morte back slightly out of arm's reach. Women, they appreciate lovers, not fighters. You are perhaps the last person I would ever take romantic advice from. If you had half the sense you died with, you'd know better. Morte rises his voice to new heights of smugness. When it comes to the annals of love, I wrote them all. Whatever, Morte, let's go.
I'm gone.
Okay. Bags.
All right.
So Dustman. You see a somber, pale-faced Dustman in black robes. He's staring starkly into his drink. Greetings. The Dustman looks up. Yes. Can I ask you some questions? Not at this time. The Dustman comes silent and turns back to his drink. Farewell then.
Done. All right.
These gates are made of featureless black metal. There doesn't appear to be any way to open them. Okay, well we're going to use this to sort out. I mean, we can't stay here, but it's close enough to what we want. Let's dump the stuff we don't need in here. I'll keep the scaffold, come in handy. Dustman, what have we got? The zombie worker. Zombie gazes at you with vacant eyes. His lips have been stitched closed and bandages wrapped several places around his body. A faint smell of alcohol emanates from the corpse. So, seen anything interesting around here? Zombie continues to stare at you. Alright then, great talking to you. This female corpse is dressed in a heavy burlap shirt. We've done this one. So, doing anything later? Great and talking to you, farewell. The skeleton turns towards you, rattling as he does so. A number of his bones are held together with level straps and a well-stained green tunic hangs from his shoulders. Nice tunic, I mean it. Skeleton makes no reply. Great talking to you, Bones. Stay healthy. Okay, let's see what we got. Zombie bodyguard. You're another wanted bodyguard.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Now we just talk to all the interesting people. So let's start with Old Copper Eyes. Before you is a tall, silent figure. He could easily pass for a statue, though the deep furrows in his face and brow make you wonder if the sculptor was a little too eager in defining the face with the chisel. It looks well over 50 years old, but exactly how old, much over 50, is hard to tell. As he slowly turns to look at you, you can catch the dull sheen of copper in his eyes. Greetings. Old Copper Eye stares at you. His eyes are difficult to make out past the black well of his eye sockets, but they look to have a coppery sheen about them. I have some questions. Copper Eye says nothing. Never mind. Farewell. Okay, who have we got? Let's do New York. New York. See a spindle-thin dustman in dirty robes. His stiff black hair springs forth from his skull like a crown of spikes, and his leopard-white skin is drawn sharply across his skull. He is frowning into his drink and mumbling to himself. Greetings. Dustman looks up, drinks one, looks you up and down as if studying you. As he studies you, he takes one of his spiked locks and points at himself with it. New Rock. Yeah, New Rock, yeah. Initiate, Dustman, guard. I'm here about the posting outside. The Dustman looks at you up and down. Many troubles have I. Help, can you? The mausoleum awakes, the dead walk, the dead disturbed, the dustman disturbed. Find out what disturbs the undead, and copper coins I will pay. Very well. Where is this mausoleum?
Updated my journal.
Nurok nods. Mausoleum by Dustman Memorial. Go north and west from Black Monument. Go to an arch and semicircle over your heart with this finger this make. He wiggles an index finger in his right hand. To the mausoleum you will go. I'll look into it then. Farewell. Yeah, okay. Before you is a young dustman with stubble on his chin and dark circles beneath his eyes. He is staring at a wall with a sombre expression. Greetings. The dustman doesn't look up. He stares straight ahead as he is seeing something several leagues beyond the walls of the bar. Can I ask you some questions? The dustman doesn't respond. He keeps staring into the distance. Farewell then. As you turn to leave, the dustman suddenly speaks, his voice barely a murmur. You have to strain to hear the words. You think he said something about wanting to die. What did you say? The boy's expression does not flicker. Do you want to die? Lie. Yes, I do. Yes, do you? Yes. Why do you want to die? See. True. There is something missing inside me. I'm here speaking with you, but still somehow I feel hollow inside. No matter what I do, I cannot shake the feeling. I think death may be preferable. Dustman watches you silently. After speaking, he does not respond, merely watches you. Looks like he is thinking. Do you want to die? Is that why you asked? Yes. Why do you want to die? This existence is a mockery of life. I do not wish to continue to charade any longer. His face wrinkles in disgust. Why would anyone wish to remain in this foul city in the centre of the multiverse that feeds on pain and hatred? Death. It is silent, comforting. That's a bleak outlook. There's more to life than pain and hatred. This is living. He bares his teeth and his hands clenched. This existence is a mockery of life. I do not wish to continue the charade any longer. Death is silent, comforting. Trust me, it's not. The boy seems irritated by the comment. And how do you know? I don't know. I've yet to see what lies beyond death and remember it. I think I've died before. I don't remember much about it though. The dustman blinks, sneers. You lie. No man can die more than once, not without being resurrected by mighty magics. Would you like to see? What do you mean? He looks like he wants to turn away but cannot. You can't, seriously. Take your hands, twist your neck. Your vision slowly returns. Your death felt different this time. You see a waiting death standing above you. He looks horrified and fascinated. He has propped you into a chair and is looking apprehensively at the other bar patrons. They don't appear to have noticed or mistaken you for a drunk. Convinced now? Aye. Are you one of the walking dead? No. Then what are you? I don't know, but I die and am reborn. Yet you still think. You still feel. Yes, but there is a hollowness, something missing, and it eats at you, never leaves you at peace. To be dead and to still think and feel, what misery will ever leave a body be? The thought seems to horrify him. Even death is no release. Indeed, perhaps you should not be so quick to abandon this life before knowing what the next life holds for you. The boy falls silent, thinking. Eventually he turns back up to you. Your words carry weight, sir, and a fresh perspective. I will do as you have said. That is all I ask. Live, grow old, and learn. Farewell. So, who else have we got? Dustman, Morte, Gravesend.
Done.
skeptic. As you approach, the elderly woman turns and stares at you. La, look who come a-calling on Saturday, Death's dearest son. He looks up and down and shakes his head. By every power of mother, boy, what crypt did you crawl out of? I didn't crawl out of any crypt. She frowns, her face wrinkling like crumbled parting. Right then, what coffin did you crawl out of? She mumbles, one of those shoddy splint coffins that Henry's most like. Gives corpses splinters, I hear. She sniffs. The boy's not been worth a clipped copper since his father died. I didn't crawl out of a coffin either. She smiles within a row. Alright then, what sarcophagus did you crawl out of? She stops and chuckles. Just ribbing you, boy. No harm meant. You do look like Death's own, though. Who is that Hemrish you mentioned? Hemrish is a coffin maker in the lower ward. Inherited the shop when his father died, much to the shame of every corpse needing a coffin, crypt or tombstone and sigil. What happened to his father? Those ears just for show, boy. He died. She mumbles. His son talked him to death most likely. That boy's tongue doesn't stop rattling. I'm surprised he could shake his head loose from his shoulders. Surprised he doesn't shake his head loose from his shoulders. Well, it doesn't sound like I'd like to be buried in one of his coffins then. Can you recommend anywhere else I could lay down and die? He makes a laugh that rattles your ears. Ha, not here unless you want to die of boredom. What's wrong with here? Shh, someone pinch your sense and your sight, boy. She waves her hand around the bar. Look around. What do your eyes see? What do your eyes tell you? A bunch of fun-loving dustmen drinking happily and conversing merrily, celebrating life to its fullest. You've got a clever tongue there, boy. Mayhap your tongue is cleverer than you are. So he squints at you and then snorts. That'd explain the scar. But it doesn't explain why a dustman is standing here ridiculing other dustmen. Care to answer that one? Are you a dustman? A dustman, I suppose. So he sniffs. Shh. I've seen enough sand pass through the hourglass while wearing these robes. The body's almost ready to pay the ferryman. She chuckles, but there's not much mirth in it. Are you afraid of dying? Of course I am, boy. Who isn't? She frowns and lights his mouth. Well, except dustmen. They're not afraid because they've been swallowing too much of their own bat droppings over the decades. They're blinding themselves to think that death is some kind of release. It is a release of sort. If you think that this life is a burden, boy, then perhaps. I'm not convinced of that. So what sparked this crisis of faith? She shrugs. Life, suppose. Never you mind. I won't bore you with the niggly details. I'd like to know, actually. Oh, would you? She looks at you skeptically. Shh. How old do you take me for? Lie out of kindness. Rather youngish. She blinks and then smiles. Aren't you a dear? She chuckles to herself, then coughs. Well, I'm older than I look. Much older, she sighs. I spent most of my life teaching dustmen. I've seen many dustmen whelps grow within our order, taught them the way of the faction, kept the faith, preached the tenets of the faction. She frowned. And so on and so on. No questions, no doubt. This life was merely an antechamber that led to the true death. What happened? Well, a month back I went sick with a fever. She sighs. I thought it was the end. It rattled my cage. How? Her face becomes as a stone. There's nothing about having your faction members circle around your deathbed like a pack of pale-faced ghouls, nodding and agreeing that your suffering and dying is all for the best. Oh, Sarah is so fortunate. She shall soon be relieved of the burden of life. Burden of life? That's when it struck me. That there's something, a queer expression comes over her features, addled about not appreciating your life. The dustman kept saying that life is a misery and suffering. Is it? That we should be happy to pass on into oblivion? Should we? She shakes her head, questions and presses through answers. It doesn't sound like you believe in the dustman philosophy anymore. I suppose I've got a swarm of doubts all buzzing in my skull. She rubs her temples. Hard to get them all to be quiet sometimes. They need to be fed some answers, and I haven't got them all worked out yet. What will you do? To be square, boy, I don't know. Yes, it's the problem with doubt. Can't even trust what I'm feeling is true. That if I'm scared to death only because of my brush with a fever, or even what I should do. Is this a passing thing? I don't know. Okay. Okay. So if you truly breathed the Dustman philosophy, then your brush with the fever would not have left you with such doubts. Seri looks at you, then nods slowly. Maybe so, maybe so. She frowns over her face, wrinkling up in concentration. I'll have to chew over it some more. You should. It's no small matter. Now, look at me, worrying, rattling on about my woes. Seri stares at Skies. You look like you've shared a few handshakes with death yourself. Hasn't that changed your view somewhat? Doesn't it make you appreciate life a bit more? Truth. Well, my brush's death are a lot closer than those of other people. Can't seem to die, at least as far as I know. Jerry blinks. You're rattling my coffin. It's true. Strange are the ways of the plains, and I've seen too much to throw any towel out with the wash. He studies your face. If it's true, why does this happen? All I know is I woke up in the mortuary with no memory and cold with enough wounds to kill me 3 times over. Now, don't be saying that too loud, she glances around. Most peculiar. I've never heard of anything like it. Shame about the memories. Do you have any idea why this happens? Nay, not one. Never knew anyone who death couldn't take until now. Well, perhaps I can ask you some other questions. Questions, eh? Well, you can ask. Sally looks at you with steely eye and smiles. Correct caller. Okay, let's go for... Have you seen a journal recently? I'm missing mine. What does it look like? No idea. If you don't know what it looks like, how do you expect to find it? I'm beginning to wonder that myself. I have some other questions. Okay. I am searching for a man named Farrod. Have you seen him? Serge's face crumbles into a frown. That dog. He's the worst of the collector lot. I heard he set his kip up somewhere in Ragpicker Square, many streets west of the Mortuary Gate. Dangerous place though. Some of those collectors aren't patient enough to wait for folks to die so they can sell them for jink. Collectors? They're vermin that scavenge the boughs of the height for bodies to sell to the dustmen. Make a living off the dead. A motley breed. Makes you ashamed to share the same city with them. She sighs. Well, at least they help keep the streets clean. Oh, I have some other questions. Okay, I wanted to ask you about some of the dustmen in particular. Okay, no harm in it. What was on your mind? Can you tell me about awaiting death? Awaiting death? That boy has half the sense of a jackass. He actually wants to die, and so young too. I wish death would rattle its cage. Teach him a few things. Can I ask you about some other dustmen? Can you tell me about old Copper Eyes? Don't know much about that one. He's a strange blood. He never moves from that spot, never eats, never drinks, just waits. She shivers slightly. Makes me uneasy. Can I ask you about some of the other dustmen? Actually, I met a scribe named Dole in the mortuary. Do you know him? Dole? He was my instructor in the philosophy arts during my early training at the mortuary, and a costly fool to boot. He's ill, so my ears tell me. I bet I'll even bore death with his presence. Is he dying? Shh. Sicker than a spotted dog he is. Not much sand left in the hourglass of him. Can I ask you some other questions about dustmen? I met a guide at the mortuary, so you go. Do you know him? That boy used to be a regular around here. I don't know what happened to him. Could be he was shaken up after his friend died. Explain. One of his friends was killed in a hive a few weeks ago, torn apart by rats. She shakes her head. Messy business. Has Sogeo always been the guide at the mortuary? No, only for the past few months, and last I heard, he was just sent off on some missionary duty, but I don't know where. Can I ask you some other questions? One of the embalmers in the mortuary, Vane. Do you know her? Who? Strange young woman, poor eyesight, near death, talons for hands. She shakes her head. Maybe she's a new initiator. I've never heard of her. No matter, I have some other questions. Okay. I must take my leave. Farewell. We've got Morte Gravesend. And Emmerich. Okay, let's talk to Morte Gravesend. This tiny wizened man is dwarfed by his huge dustman robes. They look as if they were chosen to cloak his small stature. Although he looks to be in his late 90s, this man is extremely energetic. He fidgets continuously, and his eyes dart around the bar like birds. Greetings. The man's eyes gleam as he takes your measure, and he gives you a slight nod in greeting. How long were much treasure? Traveller, he looks like one who is just getting. You look like one who's just getting their sigil legs about them. He trails off. Pardon me, have we met before? Your face seems similar somehow. Possibly. Are you certain it was me? Maybe I was mistaken. Morte shakes his head. Well, no matter. How is it that Morte Gravesend can help you? Do you seek? He clicks his tongue as he speaks. The contract, perhaps. Contract? The contract. Why, it is but a simple transaction. From the depths of his huge robe, Morte falls fire, dusts a parchment and the quill pen. I give you 50 commons. In return, after death, the Dustman faction may claim your remains. He smiles, then clicks his tongue. What use will you have for them at that point anyway? What do the Dustmen do with the body? Morte holds up his hands as if he doesn't know. What does it matter? It is of no consequence when you pass on. It matters to me. Well, if you must know, oft-times nothing is done with the body, and it is we, the Dustmen, who have wasted all that money. More for us. Morte gives you a light smile, then looks apologetic, but rarely there are times when the workers in the mortuary need to be replaced, and then we may have need for your body. You mean I'll be animated as a corpse and put to work in the mortuary? That doesn't sound good. Ah, but no harm is done, no pain. Morte raises his finger, as if to emphasise the point, and there is no danger. In exchange for money you can spend in this life, you merely have to give us something that you will have no need of anyway once you have died. Morte taps his chest. I signed a contract myself, if you must know. I still shall have no need of my body when I pass on. True. Very well, I'll sign. Excellent. Morte looks overjoyed. With a thin smile, he places a dusty sheet of parchment and the quill pen in front of him. You shall not regret it. He jabs his finger at 3 points on the page. Sign here, here, and here, and our transaction is concluded. You know, you show more emotions than other Dustmen I've met. Morte smiled, turned cold. I trust you meant no offence, sir. I meant no offence, but you seem awfully eager to sign his contract with me, and for a Dustman, eagerness strikes me as odd. Eager? Morte's eyes bright. He's bright and then cosplay. Sir, do you wish to sign the contract or not? If not, is there a problem with showing emotion? Oh yes, Morte smiled. Too much passion, too much emotion prevents one from reaching true death. To be passionate runs contrary to the philosophy of our faction. True death? The true death is the state of peaceful oblivion all Dustmen aspire to and to help others reach. He clucks disprovingly. Anything that ties a soul to his life is shunned by that faction, whether these are ties are possessions or emotions. You see, passions act as an anchor for the soul, preventing it from reaching the true death. His head shakes his head. Very, very bad. I had some other questions. Okay. Are you the one that signed the dead contract with anger? Morte frowns. He looks mayhap, he says for a moment. I do not recall. his name, however. Do you have that contract with you? Morte frowns, then looks in the folds of his robe. I don't normally keep the documents with me. It may be that. Morte pulls for his sheaf of paper from within his robes and begins leafing through the document. No, I don't have it on me. Would you like me to fetch it from the back rooms? You keep contracts here in the establishment? Until they are shipped to the mortuary, yes. I have signed many contracts in my life, many contracts, including my own. It's such a trouble to haul them all to the mortuary. Do you have the contract that made with anger with you? If you could, I would like to see it. Hold on a moment. Steps up from the table and departs. Wait for him to
Updated
return.
my journal.
After a while, Morte returns, a dusty piece of parchment in his hands. Holds it up, allowing you to see it, but it does not allow it to leave the carve of the parchment. There it is, sir. Anger, very sombre fellow, was quick to sign. He clucked his tongue, and now a much richer fellow. You glance over his contract. It looks genuine and very official. Very well, it all looks in order. Mortuary puts the contract away, and you notice he tucks it into his robe instead of putting it in the back room. Mortuary clucks his tongue. Does that answer your questions about the contract? I'd like to settle that contract. Morte looks wary. I'm afraid that is impossible. The contract is signed, sealed, and binding. The contract is tearing the man's life apart. It is causing him distress. It is possible that he may not even be able to approach the true death with such emotions churning in his mind. Morte chews it over for a moment. It looks like you've negotiated him into a corner. I cannot. It's a matter of law, my friend. Besides, the burden lies on the signer to overcome his own feelings in order to reach the true net. I cannot. So, what you're saying is you're denying him the true death for the sake of a piece of parchment. Morte says and holds up his hands as if to placate you. Look, it is not how you are making it out to be. You obviously hold the philosophy of the dustmen in contempt to damn a man's soul over a piece of paper. Do other members of your faction know of your conduct in this regard? If not, they soon will. Morte glares with you for a moment, opens his mouth and then opens it. By the nine hells, he reaches into his robe and throws the contract to you. Here, all for a man's peace of mind. Now be gone. I will leave. For now. Farewell, Morte. Okay. Let's do Emmerich. You see a heavy-set man with dark skin and grim features. He is dressed in dustman robes and regarding you with a stony gaze. Greetings. You have the look of one lost. Did the wind send you, or are you here with a purpose? Who are you? I am Emmerich, Totem and Initiate of the Full Circle. Is this your bar? If you measure ownership in copper, this is not my establishment. If you measure ownership in spirit, it is mine. He pauses as if trying to emphasize a point. The dustmen here are my students. They are under my protection. Can I ask you some questions? Emmerich waits. Let's see. Can you tell me about the Dustman faction? Dustmen seek the true death. Some call it oblivion, but it is incorrect. Dustman, to true death is freedom from the chains of this false life. False life? This life that many clings to with their emotions is a false existence. As long as one clings to it, they will continually be reborn into it. One must divest themselves of emotion to escape this cycle. I see. Can you tell me about how your faction is organised? Dustmen are organised into 5 circles. The 5th circle is made of the lowest rank of dustmen. The 1st circle is comprised of the highest ranking dustmen, the ruling body of our faction. I had some other questions. I would like to join the Dustman faction. If you desire to join the Dustman faction, I will hear your request. You have misjudged me. I have no desire to join the Dustman faction. I merely believe what the Dustmen believe. Very well. Do you know our philosophy? Yes. Recite it. The goal of all Dustmen is to reach the true death, oblivion. This life that many cling to with their emotions and passions is a false one. As long as one clings to it, one will continue to be reborn into it. One must divest himself of emotion to escape this cycle. Do you believe it? Lie. Yes. Then it shall be tested. Speak with Initiate Nirok. He is here in the bar. Return when you have done what he have asked of you. I will speak with him. I had some questions first though. Okay. Can you tell me about the dead contracts? Do you wish to sign the dead contracts? What is it exactly? In exchange for 50 copper commons, the dead contract gives the dustman the right to your corpse after death. Do you wish to sign the dead contract? I'll sign. Emmerich pulls forth a dusted piece of parchment from his robe and a quill pen. He directs you to sign the parchment in 3 places. Sign in the places indicated. You take the quill in hand and you begin to scratch your signature into the parchment. Your quill pen makes a strange squitching noise as it touches the parchment like a chisel on stone. Continue signing. As you try to sign the parchment, however, you notice that it seems to be impervious to your pen. No matter how hard you try, you can't pen your name. The ink doesn't want to seem to leave the pen. Emmerich, what's with this contract? When you glance up to Emmerich, you see that his face has turned to stone. He has become a statue. The rest of the bar seems to be filled with grey haze, and you can no longer make out the rest of the patrons. A faint whisper comes from Emmerich's mouth as if his stone lungs were trying to force a breath from his chest. Emmerich? You barely make out the whisper coming out from Emmerich's stone lips when you realise it is not one but many whispers. Sign, but know that its price is set in stone, and what can change the nature of a man? The whispering words rise to a ragged dead chorus as if being spoke by 5, 10, 20, 100 voices. Old, young, female, male, desperate, calm, hysterical. Nature of a man. As you speak the words, suddenly you feel faint, and the next thing you hear is Emmerich's voice normal. Do you still wish to sign? Try to get your bearings. It is as time is exhaled and resumed its normal breathing. The haze filling the bar has vanished, and Emmerich is no longer a statue. Feel a strange pressure inside your skull, as if something desperately wishes to surface but cannot. It is as if you remembered a dozen splinters of memory at once, all stabbing into each other to create an image. And you know somehow that every whisper that came from Emmerich's stone face belonged to someone, now long dead. Look at the parchment again. As you stare at the dusty parchment upon the table, you know for a fact that this is not the first time you have penned your name to a contract, and perhaps not the first time you have signed one such as this. Finish signing the contract. You scratch an X across the contract in 3 places Emmerich indicated. As you finish, Emmerich takes the contract and hands you a bag of 50 coppers. Now that is out of the way, I had some questions for you. I have come here in search of a journal. These eyes have seen no journal. Perhaps your search will take you elsewhere. So I had some other questions for you. I am searching for a man named Farod. Have you seen him? Why would you seek the collector Farod? I wish to speak with him. As do I. He has made such a thing difficult. He speaks through other men. Emmerich feels silent for a moment. When 2 men speak through other men, little is said and much is lost. Why do you want to speak with Farod? The collector Farod has brought the corpses to the mortuary of late. One must ask where these bodies are from. Tell me more about the bodies. Some are recent dead. They still have their last moments in their eyes. Many of the bodies are centuries dead. The dust of ages lies upon their bones. One must ask where these bodies are from. Perhaps I could find out where these bodies are from. How would you do such a thing? I would track down Farod and ask him. If you spoke with the collector Farod and returned with his answers, you would have done a great service to the dustman. Find where the dead he brings to us are from, and you will be rewarded. Very well, I find Farod, speak to him, and find out where these dead bodies he brings you are from. Emmerich nods. Your path is our path. Return here when you have the Collector Farrod's answers. Can you tell me where he is? It is not known to me where the Collector Farrod is. He hides from the eyes of the dustmen. I would seek other collectors and ask them your question. Farewell, I have some other questions. Okay, I must take my leave. Farewell. Okay. So, a few things to do. More talk to Morte Gravesend. Morte frowns as you approach, clicking his tongue. You again. Have you come to make me surrender more contracts in the name of the Dustman faction? He frowns in sighs. Well, no matter. Past is past. He regains his old smile and nods. What is it I can do for you? Have you seen a journal recently? I'm missing one. No. I'd like to sign that contract you mentioned. Excellent. Morte looks overjoyed with a thin smile. Places dusty sheet of parchment and a core pen in front of you. You shall not regret it. He jabs his finger at the 3 points in the page. Sign here, here and here. And that transaction is concluded. Sign there, there and there. You take the quill in your hand, you begin to scritch your signature into the parchment. The quill pen makes a strange scritching noise as it touches the parchment like a dagger writing on steel. Continue signing. As you try to sign the parchment, however, you notice that it seems to be shifting between the pens. No matter how hard you try, you can't seem to sign your name. The contract seems to twist from being a dusty piece of parchment to something alive. Mortuary, what's with this contract? When you glance up to speak to Morte, you see that his face has been replaced with that of a grinning skull. The rest of the bar seems to stop, and patrons fall silent. Freezing like statues, Morte opens his mouth and a wisp of dust trails from inside the skull. Morte? With a rasp, the death's head speaks, dust streaming from its teeth. Sign, and remember everything has its price, and what can change the nature of a man. The words are a ragged dead chorus spoke by 5, 10, 20, 100 voices. Young, female, male, desperate, calm, hysterical. Nature of a man. You speak the words, suddenly you feel faint, the next thing you hear is Morte's voice, gnawing his hand upon your shoulder. Sir, are you alright? He laughs at me. I thought I'd lost you for a moment. Try and get your bearings. It's as if time has reheld and resumed its natural breathing. The rest of the bar has returned to normal, and Morte's face is no longer a death's head. You feel a strange pressure inside your skull, as if something desperately wishes to surface but cannot. The experience with the death's head that spoke dust. It was as if you were remembering a dozen splinters of memory all at once, all stabbing into each other to create an image, and you know somehow that every voice the death's head spoke belonged to someone now long dead. Just give me a moment, I'll be fine. Morte removes his hand from your shoulder. He looks uneasy, more at the prospect of losing a customer than any concern for your welfare. As you stare at the dusty parchment upon the table, you know for a fact that this is not the first time you have penned your name to a contract, and perhaps not the first time you have signed one as this, when you signed the contract. You scratch an X across the contract in 3 places Morte indicated. As you finish making the last mark, Morte's hands lash out like 2 whips. The left hand sprinkles dust across the parchment to help it into the dry, and his right hand flicks a stream of coppers into your hand. 50 in all. Now that is out of the way, I have some other questions for you. Okay. Can you tell me all about some of the patrons here? Of course, which patron did you wish to know about? Can you tell me about awaiting death? A troubled initiate, Morte clicked his tongue disapprovingly. He seeks death with a passion that makes most inappropriate for a dustman. Dustmen are not allowed to feel passions. Oh my yes, too passions run to emotion, prevents one from reaching the true death. To be passionate runs contrary to the philosophy of our faction. True death? True death is a state of peaceful oblivion all dustmen aspire to, and help all others reach. Clucks disapproving. Anything that ties a soul to his life is shunned by our faction. Whether these ties are in possessions or emotions, you see, passions act as an anchor in the soul, preventing it from reaching a true death. Strikes it very, very bad. I have some other questions. Talk to the patrons. Can you tell me about Sarah? A troubled initiate. I heard she contracted a sickness not long ago, and it It changed her. Now she seems bitter and angry and does not speak with the Dustman belief with a conviction she once did. I fear that bitterness is a passion that could jeopardise her position within the faction. I have some other questions. Can you tell me about patrons here? 3. Can you tell me about Initiate Emmerich? A respected initiate of the Fourth Circle. A very wise man. He has divested himself of attachments and passions for this life. He nods in approval. Okay. 2. Old Copper Eyes. What as I'd go cold. The one with eyes of copper. His eyes speak enough about the purpose here. He makes a semicircle over her heart. A member of the Dustman faction but I would never sign a dead contract with him. Copper is his soul, and to me, it's that speaks in excess of passion for money. He has a Dustman in name only. Oh, he's offering contracts as well. Morte clucks disapprovingly. Yes, but it is better that you sign with me rather than a greedy monster. Greed is a passion that kills you, and to a Dustman it is twice as deadly. What would happen if I signed a contract with him? Morte finishes you with a culture, then you would be committing a criminal offence. I would see you arrested, and then, law permitted, the Dustman would collect on your debt contract much earlier than you had intended. C. No questions today. Morte nods as this ain't wrong. Forgive me, I must ask again. Are you sure we haven't met before? Possibly, I do not recall you. Well, no matter. Farewell, Morte. Yes, farewell, farewell. Morte studies you as you leave, and you hear him muttering his breath. Something about that one. Okay. Old Copper Eyes. Old Copper Eyes stares at you. He looks difficult to make out past the black velvet, but they look to have this coppery shimmer. I'm looking to sign one of the dead contracts. Copper Eyes makes the bearer some nods and slowly reaches into the adjustment rows with both hands. With his left hand he pulls forth a small bag of human skin. With his right hand he draws forth a piece of parchment folded around a finger bone pen. The bag and the parchment are slowly laid on the table in front of you. Okay. Pick up the parchment and examine it. It is a contract that entitles the Dustman to take possession of the signer's body after it has passed beyond the eternal boundary. The signer in exchange receives a monetary sum from the Dustman agreed upon at the time of signing. We assume the sum in the bag is the amount that you receive for signing the contract. Examine the bag. The bag is full of coppers. There look to be about 100 in there. Take the bag. As you reach for the bag, it finishes from the table. When you blink again, it has returned. Copper Eyes is still staring at you. Okay. Sign the parchment. As you finish signing, Copper Eyes nods at the bag to his left. As he does so, the contract parchment finishes from the table and into the folds of his robe. I had some questions I wanted to ask. Copper Eyes says nothing. Never mind. Farewell. Okay. You see Nirok pulling at one of the spikes of his hair and using it to scratch a spot in his face. You can't help but think he'd look better with dreadlocks. Emmerich told me to speak with you, Nirok. Emmerich sent you to me. He studies you for a moment and then decides and points to himself. Nirok is a Dustman guard. Serve Dustman interest, protect Dustman interest, protect Dustman reputation. The man sighs again. In the hive, many thieves. One thief wears robes with a Dustman, but a Dustman not. There's a thief disguised as a Dustman.
Updated my journal.
Nirok nods. I'll find him. I can how important to the Dustman is. I could track him down for you. Nirok nods again. For making my troubles your troubles, copper coins I will pay. Find the not Dustman, deal with him, and then return. Rock will farewell, I return when I found this not Dustman. Farewell. Okay. So. Okay. What we got? Rock, a dustman I met in the gathering just before told me of a mausoleum where the dead walk. He wanted me to look into the matter. He said the mausoleum entrance was north and west of the Dustman Memorial outside the Mortuary. He said I could go to the archway there and make a semicircle over my heart with my right index finger. Then the entrance would open. If I could find the problem in the mausoleum and solve it, then return to Rock and let him know. Apparently Morte wasn't carrying Anger's contact on it. He had to go and fetch it first, but he didn't put it back in the back room when he was done. I did as Emmerich bade and spoke with a dustman in the Rock. He has trouble tracking down a man, a thief, dressed as a dustman. See if we got NPCs who... Collectors. Collectors are pathetic. Yeah, done. Dustman male, dustman female. Yeah, okay, we're done. Okay. We're coming up to nearly an hour, so I am going to leave it here. This has been Vane doing Let's Play Planescape Torment. If you like what you're seeing here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider sponsoring me on Patreon. And until next time, goodbye.